The Shift is a dystopian drama and sci-fi thriller where one man has to find the woman that he loves. This film stars Neal McDonough, who is incredible, probably the best part of this movie. And it's something that I've never seen before, in that it's a Christian version of The Matrix meets Loki and this multiverse theory. It's something very unique, and I've never seen a Christian studio go into something like this. Something that isn't super in-your-face Christian, but at the same time has so many Christian elements within it. So I'm going to highlight some of these things. What I would say off the bat is, if you like thrillers and sci-fi movies, this is probably up your alley. Extremely, extremely well shot. I could not believe all the effort they went into. I'm working on a film on Eucharistic miracles called The New Manna, which we have a $100,000 match right now, so please help donate to a 501c3 to finish that up. I've seen the elements needed. We've recreated all the Bible scenes related to the Eucharist, and this had so many different sets where he would flash from one moment to the next moment in just a few seconds. All that would be required for that. The acting was incredible, and again, not cheesy. The sound and the score and everything, like, your heart was beating through that. I mean, it was really well done. I mentioned The Matrix because there's a scene where there's multiple versions of the same person. It was cool to see all these things, and I was like, wow, this was so well done. It looked so great. I mean, you'd literally see this and be like, this is on par with CGI in other films. Extremely well done. Let's dive into the movie and some of the things that I really appreciated about it. This movie's set to be a retelling of the story of Job in a different light, and it's a totally different light, but has many elements there. One thing that's really neat is Neal McDonough, who's known as the benefactor in the film, is Lucifer, right? And he does a phenomenal job. I mean, we all know him as the bad guy in so many movies, but I think in so many ways, God has positioned him with all these experiences to fit this role perfectly. I mean, he is so smooth and charming in this film, just as Lucifer is, right? I always say the devil is good at what he does. We forget that he's an angel, right? A much superior intellect than any of us will ever have. And he just does that so well. He says things in such a smooth and manipulative way that you're like, you really want to root for him. You know, you want to be on his side. It is just incredible how he does that. And he talks about marriage, and he says how communication in marriage and failure of communication in marriage leads to so many failures in that regard. And I thought that was a neat element that was highlighted. But then he goes into a unique role, and I'm not going to spoil it here, but throughout the film, he is very much playing Satan perfectly in that accusatory role where he's like, oh, come on, I want to lure you in. But if that's not working, oh, do you think Jesus would want you? You know, do you think that you're even worthy of that? Do you think he would care about you anymore? Things like that. That's not verbatim what he said, but just really hinting at those things that Satan so often does. You know, so I think this film did a great job exposing so much of that, but at the same time, not being cheesy or pushing the envelope too far. I thought it had a great balance there that people with no faith or faith could realize, and maybe that would even impact them after this film, hopefully, to get them to realize the tricks that Satan plays on us on a daily basis. When it comes to the Job elements of this, it spoke to it very well. Really putting you kind of in the place of that. Well, if God cares so much about you, why is he letting you suffer? Things like this. If he cares so much about you, where is he? You know, and then he says at one point, unlike God, if you're with me, I'll have your back for life. Great script choice there. But one of the things that I love that was said the most is, if God cares about you so much, why is he letting me do this to you? And man, what a statement that's probably been thought or said by millions or billions of people throughout history. How could God let this happen to me if he cares for me, if he loves me? And this is the problem of evil that so many of us face, right? This is a reality that all of us, no matter what time in history are, we have to come to grips that faith doesn't eliminate suffering, but it makes it bearable. Great points there. And I just think it was so unique because I'm bringing these up, but this was, you know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes of the whole film. Almost all of it was this action and thriller element of it. There were parts of the movie where, you know, oftentimes with Christian movies, you can kind of predict what's going to happen. And I thought this was what was going to happen, but not at all. This happened many times. Great job there. And I was really happy to see that it wasn't your typical Christian movie that you go see and you can anticipate everything and it's always the happy ending and everything works out perfect. There were elements that didn't go as anticipated and really spoke to so many deep and hard things to overcome, especially with faith or without faith. So this is a film I would recommend. I would say that if you're not really into the multiverse Matrix type films, this probably may not speak to you as much as other movies that are kind of more in your face. This, I think, was more of a, like it said, it was a thriller, and that's exactly what it was. So if you are not really into that and not into like different kind of worlds and alternate realities and things like that, that a lot of the younger generations are, then this may not be for you. I'm of that generation and have seen things like this, so it kind of fit in perfect. Like there's shifting, the whole reason it's called Shift is because you can shift between universes, so to say, going to that multiverse Loki mention that I had earlier. This is, again, the first time I've seen a Christian film go into this, and I thought it was really neat. All the marketing and branding was really done in a way that just looks like every other movie. I mean, I think the poster almost looked like that of Venom or a Marvel movie like The Avengers or something like that. Really done in a way that appeals to so many. So I'm glad to see this direction being taken. I hope that this will be something people just stumble into theaters, seeing Neal McDonough's face and be like, oh, that's the bad guy from so many movies, and hopefully be drawn to that. So I enjoyed the movie. My wife did as well. We were sitting there like, what's going on? You know, what, having our different theories. And it was just a fun movie to watch. Definitely something that gets you thinking. Not something that's like, oh yeah, this happened and this happened. There's so much to it and many factors in there. So a unique movie indeed, and one that I thought was great. Feel free to comment below. Let me know your favorite part of the movie if you've seen it. And if you have any questions, let me know as well. This movie has seemed to be close to breaking even. So I'd encourage you, if you want to support a Christian movie. I loved it. The main character was so steadfast and persistent through it all, and really just was an icon of virtue. And the decision he made, I'm sure many of us were like, oh, I don't know if I would do that. But it was great to see, and really neat to just see a film that doesn't really have that preachy Christian element. Obviously, it talks about God and suffering and why we let it, this happen and things like that. But nothing like, I'm going to quote this Bible verse and then we're going to cry and everything's going to be better. Not like that at all. And you've seen, if you look online in reviews, I'm sure they'll say this was really well done to echo that. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please like it and share it. Have a blessed day, and God love you.